Have you ever felt a fear so strong it feels like a physical wall? For Meera, that wall had a name: job interview. She was brilliant, truly. Her college projects were legendary, and her understanding of marketing was top-notch. But the moment she sat in front of an interview panel, everything would just vanish. Her mind would become a blank slate, her palms would get sweaty, and her heart would beat so fast she was sure everyone in the room could hear it. She remembered one interview in particular for a big firm she had dreamed of working at. It was a disaster. The interviewer, a kind-looking woman, had smiled and asked that classic opening question, "So Meera, tell me about yourself." And Meera froze. Completely. All the brilliant things she had done, all her passions, all her skills, they just evaporated. She mumbled something about her degree and then fell silent. The rest of the interview was a blur of shame. The rejection email that evening felt less like a surprise and more like a confirmation of her deepest fear, that she just wasn't good enough. That night, something shifted. Staring at the rejection email, Meera felt a different emotion bubble up past the anxiety. It was anger. She was angry at this fear, this invisible monster that was holding her life hostage. She decided, right then and there, that she was going to fight back. She wasn't sure how, but she knew she couldn't live like this anymore. Her first step was calling her best friend, Rohan. Rohan listened patiently as Meera poured her heart out. He didn't just offer empty words of comfort. Instead, he said, "Okay, so let's treat this like one of your marketing projects. The problem is fear. Let's find a strategy to solve it." Together, they came up with a plan. First, Meera wrote down answers to every single interview question she could find online. Not to memorize them like a script, but simply to get her thoughts in order. It was about knowing her own story. Next came the hardest part: practice. She started by talking to herself in the mirror. It felt incredibly awkward at first, but slowly she got used to the sound of her own voice talking about her accomplishments. Then she started recording herself on her phone. Watching the videos was painful. She noticed how she fidgeted, how she avoided eye contact, how her voice would tremble, but seeing it made it real, something she could actually work on. The final step was bringing in Rohan to conduct mock interviews. The first few sessions were tough. Rohan was a surprisingly strict interviewer. But with each session, Meera got a little better. She learned to structure her answers using a simple method: situation, task, action, result. It gave her a framework, a path for her mind to follow when panic threatened to take over. She also learned a simple breathing technique: inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. It was her secret weapon against the pounding in her chest. A few weeks later, an interview opportunity came up with a company called Creative Spark. It was her dream job. On the day of the interview, the old fear was there, whispering in her ear. But this time, something was different. She had her tools. In the waiting area, she did her breathing exercises. When her name was called, she walked in, stood tall, and gave the interviewer a firm handshake. And then came the question. "So Meera, tell me about yourself." She took a quiet breath, and then she smiled. She didn't just list her qualifications. She told a story. Her story. She spoke about her passion for building brands, the challenges she had overcome in college projects, and what she had learned from them. It wasn't a performance. It was a conversation. She was calm, confident, and most importantly, she was herself. 2 days later, her phone rang. It was Creative Spark. They were offering her the job. A wave of relief and joy washed over Meera, so powerful it brought tears to her eyes. She had done it. The fear wasn't completely gone, but she had learned how to manage it. She had built a wall of her own, made of preparation, practice, and self-belief. And she knew, with absolute certainty, that no wall could ever hold her back again.